Fuck it, we'll do it live. What's up, everyone? Hi. Sorry, we just got a little chat skis in our little pre-show that we do for member pluses. We ran over 3 or 4 minutes, guys. We're naughty. Having a chat. Did we even get to the bottom of all the things we were squawking on about? I did. I squawked. My throat's sore, everyone. I'm not feeling very well. Yesterday, I got a bit sick, a little under the weather. I opted to not take, what's it called? Dayquil for this show. So we'll see how we go. What's up? We're doing Onyx Storm. Now, let me just tell you right now, we've done the first 2 books. I only have one in my possession, is Iron Flame. I read all of them again in anticipation for Onyx Storm. Now, can I just say this? They've sold something like 12 million copies in 24 hours. Don't quote me on that, but it's something ridiculous. It's roughly like, because I saw a TikTok breakdown, which was like, how much did Rebecca Yarros make out of that? 12 million copies, or was it like 4 million copies at $30? Therefore, it was X amount. And then her agent takes this much, and the publishers take that much, and then, you know, all this stuff left. She made about $1 million writing the book. That's still not bad. That is not bad. No wonder that everyone's like, hey, not a trilogy. Let's do 5 books. What's the worst that could happen? Yeah, maybe the books could be shit. So we're talking about it. Full spoilers today. What I like to do initially, we had some Lizanne followed, first time talker as well, saying hello everyone. Actually, let me verbatim I'll tell you what she said. I have to scroll up. Hi. That was worth it. Lizanne's in the chat, everyone. We also have KP Dubs resubscribing 47 months in a row. And you said, hey, my 4-year anniversary will be the month that you turn 29, Maude, which is next month. 4-year anniversary next month. 4 years. Wowee, go us. That's fantastic. How did you find Maude's Book Club again, or Geek Bomb? How did you stumble upon it for the first time? Yep. Oh, thank you. No, it's a waste of time. I do ask questions like, did you know that in your accent when you say, why not? Oh my God, are you fucking kidding? Oh yeah, reset. Streamlabs. Oh, we could do TLDR. I don't think they can even hear that. 1 second. I need all of my focus right now. I can't multitask with this brain. You and
multitask.
Okay, try now. Yeah, man. What the heck? What the heck? Hey, it'll just do that. Sorry, guys. KP Dub said that he just knew about Hector Navarro from Geek and Sundry. And then from there, he was like, I'm on Alpha Book Club. And then he covered a book that KP Dubs likes, which is what I did not like. It was Assassin's Apprentice. It was Assassin's Apprentice. It had a dog in it. And then you said, do you know some of my red carpet interviews? And that I don't ask the questions where it's like, what a waste of everyone's time. But I remember asking someone on the red carpet, I was right down the end, and they stopped. And I was like, oh, I'm not prepared for this because everyone just walks past me because I'm at the end of the carpet. And they said, oh, my favorite genres of movies, I love horror movies. And I was like, what? That's a bit personal to share, don't you think? Like, what do you mean? Horror movies are amazing. I was like, I'm going to need you to put a double syllable in that word. Otherwise, and they clocked it and realized that it sounded like they were saying a different kind of movie. And I blew their mind. And I'm like, Australia's going to love that. So what I get away with in Australia, I cannot get away with over here. Horror. Yeah, I say horror. There's no mistaking that. Horror. Lizanne says, I found you from the Pierce Brown interview on YouTube. Oh, welcome. That was a lot of fun. Smecked, first time chatter, says, hurrah. I like that as well. They're still not called that. They're not called that, academic. You are right. Robin says, I found you from Nerdist Book Club. What was the book? What was the first book that got you in? Do you remember?
Dune.
Yeah. Six-part discussion.
That was the only way I would ever have read it. Like with people breaking it down like that, yeah.
And like the amount of tangents that I like went back, I think a video popped up and I was like, I wonder if it got any more comments. And all the comments are like, what the fuck? These people can't stay on track. They're not talking about the book at all. I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds about right. Would be like the Bene Gesserit, hey, what other witches do you like? So I took the tangents and brought them here because that's how I roll. We just like discussions. Vaden says, I got here from Fungeons and Flagons. I still remember that. You were like, I like D&D and I would like to contribute to this. And I was like, let's go. You had really good input as well. But Thierry had input. The umbrella input was still the best one, where they rolled your item and he's free falling and he decides to roll and randomly pulls Terry's item, which is a magical Mary Poppins umbrella. And the only thing that it was good for was to slow fall. It was to slow your fall so you wouldn't die. And it was one of the best moments. When you have those moments in D&D, they sit with you forever. Just like the time I had a TPK, except it was down to me and I was playing this Hermione wizard character. Really hated playing her because she was lawful good. And every time there'd be a dead body and no one would loot. And I'd be like, we should loot. And I couldn't because a lawful good character would never take anything off a body. And so that was horrible to play. But I ended up saving the whole team and I killed everyone. And like the reason why that game could continue. And that was I can still feel the energy of that room. That was one of my hero moments. Everyone else was dead, like dead. And it was me. And I like dodged something. I can't remember. The umbrella and the bottle of wine that boosted charisma when Sam was trying to seduce a dragon. I'm going to be honest with you, Terry. I don't remember that. I was so shit-faced. We did 3 episodes in a row, and that episode got very loose. But I do believe that they rolled a 10 to seduce my dragon, and they decided to enter her through her cave. And I was like, this is not what I had hoped or anticipated in this episode. Oh, no, they rolled a 20. Sorry, there was a 20. Like, that's truly loose, says academic. I still pour one out for my fictional dragon that got violated. But I wanted to say that because every D&D game goes that way, says KP Dubs. I hope not. Ugh. Let's segue back into dragons. What did everyone think of Onyx Storm? 3rd book in the series. So far, she's been releasing like 1 a year, which has been pretty good. I think we're going to wait until 2026 for the next one. Who's going first? Is book good? Jimmy, your hand up was first. Let's go.
Hi, how's it going? All right, so
average. You asked. I'm feeling pretty average, Jimmy. I've got sinus pain,
so
a headache. I'm sorry, what?
3 out of 5, Maude.
Why did you give it a 3 out of 5, Jimmy?
I gave it a 3 out of 5 because I gave it a 3 out of 5 because it had strong world building. Like that's one of the key points of it. It's very strong world building.
Agree.
The downside of it is it kind of yammers on a bit.
It does. Yes.
And this book had very little smooching compared to the previous 2 books. It's a romantasy book. Where's the romantasy? I'm just saying.
Chapter 3. Immediately. And that was too soon for Robin.
You had to be worried about someone else hearing your audiobook because it's too embarrassing. This one, I'm just saying.
There was a pretty long chapter, and I remember listening to it being like, we're not discussing this on my book club at all. We are not going to any of these details. We are just going to acknowledge that it happened, and that chapter 3 came out of nowhere, says Lizanne. I mean, I was there the first the first 2 books. These guys have chemistry and a very dire need to connect.
I get what you're saying. Like,
I will say, no, I won't. No, I won't.
Making out.
Yeah.
You can't see dragons making out. I'm just saying.
I would actually like. These are a bonded pair that can't go a certain amount of like a week without seeing each other. But like, when are we actually? We're not overhearing those conversations, I suppose. I guess Tan's like, yeah, I'm blocking you out of all of this. But only once did we have like that flush effect of them getting jiggy. And Violet's like, good Lord, why am I a horn dog right now? And Xaden's sitting there like, drugs. Like, what a badass. Katie's here. What's up, Katie? We're asking if book is good. You're in a car right now. You read this book in less than 24 hours.
Yes, I would give this book a 5 out of 5 because of Riddick. That's about it.
Riddick had great character development in this book. I thought he was going to die because of it. I really did like the direction of Riddick. I'm wondering if Rebecca Yarros was like, oh, people like Cassian more than Rhysand. Riddick, you're up. You got to start being funnier and empowering and compassionate and awesome and have a near-death experience. I do get a little bit bogged down that Riddick is the ridiculous one. Just like in Harry Potter where...
Ridiculous. No.
Oh, he's putting the dick in Riddick?
No, he's ridiculous. It's just part of the word. How are you missing that?
Well, it's spelled slightly differently, but yeah.
Riddick. Is he bi? Is Riddick bi yet?
Yeah,
he is.
I mean, he's talking about like how he thinks like Xaden was like he's super hot for Xaden, or he thought he was either super hot or super scary, one of the two.
Oh yeah, I don't know if I want to friend him or F him. Yeah, that's fun. He's kind of like Tactus in the Red Rising series, except without needing redemption. He just kind of like gets better and better. Riddick would approve of that. I'm guessing Riddick would approve of putting the dick in Riddick. Ooh. I can confirm he's gay then. My bad. Oops. I said I wouldn't talk about any of these things, and I'm failing miserably. Who's going next? So far, we have a 3 out of 5. We got a 5 out of 5. Yes, Robin.
I gave it 3 out of 5. There is way too many characters, and the fact that you have to remember each character, their signet, their dragon's name.
We're going to do an article on Maude's book club. I spoke to the editor and I was like, babes, we need every character, who the fuck they are, what they are. Are they in the infantry? Are they a rider? If they're a rider, who's their dragon? What color? What's their name? What are the signets that they have? There is so much. And Rebecca Yarros does not do woven exposition well at all. It's just deep end treading water only. Vaden has said Cheyenne's actually posted a lot of that information in our document, especially at the end. Watch this. I'm going to copy and paste that straight to Amanda. So she's got that information. There's
some of that information are in the books. You just have to have the physical.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Robin, did you listen to it or did you read it?
I read it.
I really needed the map. I have no geographical idea of where we're at. And so again, I need to commit words to memory. I need to read the word. I need to see it. That's how my brain works. I will pull up literally what the word looks like when I'm recalling it. And I'm a very visual learner. Why does she do audiobooks then? Yeah, I know, right? That makes no sense. I just love a good multitask. Nick says there's a page in front of the book with the characters. They're bonded dragons and signets, but it's only the ones in Violet's wing. So there's like 10 characters out of 50. I will write that.
I can't even tell you how many times I like looked to the front because I was like, who is this person? And I look at the front. They're not in there. So I'm like, okay, super helpful.
Yeah, okay. That's good to know. So we're going to try and get that happening. I will say, I mean, I'm going to reference Pierce's book a lot because we just read it and it's really fresh in my mind. Pierce does a really good job of woven exposition, especially in that first few chapters of a point of view, revisits what's just happened, kind of sets you up to pace with what's on the forefront, and, you know, just hits beats of like, you know, this is the objective, the purpose, this is where I'm at, this is what I'm feeling. And we just did not get that. I will say it was a bit of a rough start because of that, where you're just thrown in the deep. And I just finished Iron Flame and started Onyx Storm. And I was just like, way, like if I hadn't just read that, a lot of stuff would have gone over my head and I think I would have been far more frustrated. But just, I was saying this before the show, she'll just throw shit at you, but without any viscosity, so it doesn't stick. Like it's like we're Teflon readers and it's just like, bleh, bleh. And then I'm like, what is happening here? Like, give me a purpose, give me a name, give me a moment that I can latch onto so that this name means something to me. It doesn't stick because her bowels are too watery, says KP Dubs. I mean, who, Vaden, it was you that was saying that Rebecca Yarros uses a lot of stomach feelings to kind of taper into what Violet's thinking the whole time. And then is it Nick? How many of us were there straight away being like, well, her bowels haven't been watery yet, has it? It's the only thing Violet hasn't happened with her stomach here.
Yeah. Literally, it was literally every chapter for the first like 7 chapters, and I stopped counting at that point. If her stomach was just doing something, there's always like, also like she does a lot of like the whole, what is it? Her jaw tick, someone's jaw ticks and like tilt their chin. Like, those two things happen a million times in the book.
Oh, it's so funny. Yeah. Like and we all have a word crutch. What are the words that we default back into? Sarah J. Maas, licking an invisible speck of dust. Like 9 people have that habit. And I'm like, let me tell you, like, even if I'm tiptoeing into being a bit of an asshole, not once have I felt the need to speck invisible dust off anything. But that's her thing. Great. Rebecca Yarros is for Violet, because we're in her POV a lot of the time. It twists, it knots, it's, you know, stresses, it's all those sorts of things. KP Dubs has a co-worker that says, needless to say, a good 30 times a day. Oh my God. I have started, it's been going on for a while now, to be honest, was a lot of people's, and I just start going, I don't think you're lying. I don't think you're lying. So as an umbrella, you do not need to remind me that you're being honest with me. Default, I believe you. To be honest. No, we're good. We're good. No, I believe you. I believe it. Why would I not think you're on? Yeah, why do you have to continuously remind me? Not being deceptive. Again, I'm not lying. You're like, I am a very trusting individual though, academic. That's the thing. My default is to believe. Until you give me a reason to not believe you, I will absolutely believe you. I don't understand people's default to lie and manipulate. You got me. Like, yeah, all right. Then they'll be like, wait a second. To be honest, I think you're full of shit. But it takes me a bit to get there. Literally is a lot of people's. Mine is like or that's my crutch. What's the villain one? Just so you know, you're not working for the villain. What do you mean?
No, I just wanted to just going off the whole like people saying things that they don't need to say at all. Like, it seems suspicious. It makes they seem more suspicious. Like, oh yeah, I'm totally being honest here. I'm not evil. I'm not. You know,
yeah. I'm not a bad guy. I'm a nice guy.
Yeah, you gotta convince people. If you have to convince people that you.
Yeah, that's it. Jeff, you've discovered what yours is. How did you learn that yours was in any event?
It was recording a podcast with friends, and anytime I was worried about where they were going, it was always in any event.
But that's an all-encompassing thing to kind of steer people back on track.
Yeah, but I say it a lot.
Does your podcast have more tangents than this one?
Yes.
Wow.
It does.
Possible.
That's impossible. Yeah, right. That's okay. Well, I'm proud of you. That's why you've defaulted in any event. That makes a lot of sense. Who does it? Who keeps doing the Baz laugh? It's subtle enough that it almost flies under the radar before I get it. All right, we're getting stuck into this book. Who else wants to tell me what they gave it out of 5? We're going to power through. Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked already. Jeff, what did you give it? I'm desperate to know.
Well, as you know, I don't really rate books that much. But I will say this. I caught up all 3 books.
Hey,
And,
welcome.
So that's that took a bit. But
Which one was your favorite out of the 3?
they're all about the same. They're
Okay.
all fine. I didn't dislike any of them, to be honest. They were all fine.
Yeah.
I don't think the writing is great.
No, I agree.
And I have a pet peeve with books like this where I feel like the plot creates the world instead of a world being created and then the plot existing in that world.
I agree.
I feel like there's just things that happen that are like, wait, I had no idea that was even remotely possible.
Yeah.
Because you haven't set anything up in the book to say that it's possible or to say that that's part of this world.
Mm-hmm.
But then it just suddenly happens. And
I
you're
agree.
like, oh.
That happens throughout all of them, yes.
I don't love. But other than that, I mean, to be fair, I didn't want to put them down.
I think you're being fair.
Yeah, that's it.
What's the rating? You don't like rating? Well,
I don't love ratings. I mean, I would 3.5, I guess, if I had to do something.
Honestly, if I were to give a rating on what I believed fine to be, it's between 3 and 3.5. So there you go. And KP Dubs, you're saying 3 mehs out of 5. 3 meh. Oh, that's what fine is. You didn't read it. I did not read it. Please don't ask me about it all.
Does it cross the Red Rising threshold, Jeff? That's what I'm curious about.
So not as well written, the Red Rising series, but the next book I will look forward to reading more than I will the next Red Rising book, just because it's like a candy whatever. It's fine. I'll enjoy it. It's fine.
So you've discovered a comfort read.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
Yep. A comfort read is you don't have to think too hard. You're just here for a good time.
Exactly. I don't have to put any sort of mental effort into it in any way, shape, or form. I can just read it, and it is what it is, and it's fine.
Yeah, that's like 80% of the books I like to read. Oh, everyone for the spelling. We've got different spellings of Jeff. It's the British Australian way, which is why I'm getting like correcty, because it's the proper way. Isn't that right? You're a GEO.
I very much am a Geoff.
Geoff! Love it.
Very cool.
Who's Nick? Nick, you were pretty, and James, you were both quite invested in this book from woe to go. Nick, if you're there, I'd love to hear your thoughts out of 5, and then we'll get stuck into this plot. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I gave it a 4 out of 5. I think I enjoyed this one more than the last 2. There was slightly less of the like teenage melodrama that plagued the first 2 that like I couldn't. Like I didn't eye roll as much through this book as I did the last one, but it's still like that. The way with these books, like they're good and I'm enjoying it through, but any second thought it crumbles kind of thing.
Yes. House of Cards.
Yeah, so it was more of that, and like it had pacing issues. I think once all 5 books are out, we'll find that books 2 and 3 100% should have been one book. Or
I agree.
Between the 2, they could have cut a lot down. It was very repetitive. We're basically, at the end of this book, we're basically at the same ending as the second book with like a big cliffhanger and it's like the same thing. So, but it was a fun ride.
It does start feeling formulaic, and I think the more books you put out, the harder it is to avoid that formulaic feeling. Blue Canary's in here first time saying, hi, new Twitcher here, love your channel. Hello. And Bernadette, oh, I've got to, thank you. It had to be done. Sorry about it. 132 burps so far. Excuse me. Bernadette says, I think third books in general are hard. I agree the beginning, like 25% of this book was rough. The story is entertaining, not the best writing, but I want to know what's next. They're fun. I give it a 3.5 out of 5. Jay Buntrock, what'd you give this one?
I gave it 4 out of 5. It's my favorite of the series. I loved it. I think it was nice to see her finally. It seems like she's leaving that school in the dust, and we're getting into. But the second half was much more action packed. And what I wanted from the series is, one of the things you don't know anything about the other dragons. You don't learn about them. So it's fun to get those chapters where you see more rider-dragon interactions. Those are actually, I genuinely actually like those interactions. And then what Nick said, where it kind of falls apart when you pick at it, that's one of my favorite things. Is my wife and all her friends have read it, so we get to discuss all the nonsense and like, what was she doing here? And I just have a blast discussing the novel afterwards.
I do too, because like while I'm in it, I'm like gasping. I'm in Fable. I'm like, what the hell? What does this mean? I'm like trying to connect with everyone like while I'm reading it. And then when I did some research for this, I was like, yeah, that doesn't really make sense, does it? Why did that happen? What would have been better if there's like 90% of this book changed for some reason. So you're right. This is why I wanted to do this. It's like, I love this. Yes, Vaden.
I just wanted to mention that I enjoyed the book, but one thing I found particularly kind of perplexing was like the Ven is a huge threat to Basgiath and other places, but a lot of the islands that Violet went and visited, like no one seemed to care. No one seemed to like be worried about them at all. It just seemed like, even if I understand like there's no magic in those areas, but it still seemed like it made the Venons feel like just like a local threat. Like it didn't feel as scary as they should be, essentially.
Well, actually, when you go back to the first book, no one had heard of them in Basgiath, and they were mythology. So it's like this news has technically broken to the majority of the people over the course of a book. But, when you start saying that some of these isles are a harbor of merchants and that there's, big trade happening, you're like, that they talk. They're going to talk. And it's like, hey, remember how we read about that when we were kids and then all those books went missing? And then it turns out, I shit you not, they're actually real and there's wyverns. Oh, my God. So, yeah, there's like some clunkiness around that. Terry says, I technically skipped chapter 3, some of 12, 25, and then 48, 49. 48, 49, that's the one I'm thinking of because it went over 2 chapters. There was the slow burn and then the seal the deal. Who said there wasn't enough? Jimmy, that's 5 chapters of spice.
I don't think it's that spicy. I think it's more like a mild sriracha sauce. That's just my opinion.
Lisa, you may have to recommend something to Jimmy that's upping the ante a little or upping one's auntie even. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, the pun was right there. Cheyenne's in the house. Let's go, girl.
Yes, I am.
Out of
I'm
5.
ready.
Out of
I'm
5.
here.
What we got?
Oh, it was a 5 for me. Are you kidding me? It was a 5. I have pages of notes. I was like, this is my notebook. And there's pages.
Is that a diagram that I saw as well? That's fantastic.
Maybe.
So we are still, because I'm just a little under the weather, we're still going through what we gave it out of 5. Has anyone not given the score before we absolutely... Yeah, Lisa, what do we got?
I'm probably sitting at a 4 out of 5. I think I did enjoy this one more than I did probably the first 2.
You inhaled this book.
I did. I feel like we got a lot more side character development,
Yes.
which I really enjoyed.
Mm-hmm.
Had a couple times where I was like, like freaking out that somebody was gonna die. So, yeah, I enjoyed the characters more in this book. There were still some things that I was just like, why is this happening? This is
Mm-hmm.
stupid. But
Oh, who is
I
this?
still really enjoyed it. Overall, I'll still continue the series. I still had a lot of fun. Just like you said, it's a easy, fun read, and just
It's
don't think too much about it.
switch off and go.
Yep.
All right. So I gave it a 4 out of 5. I did write up my review on Goodreads and on Fable. I do think a reread, if you haven't sort of read them somewhat recently, is necessary. I think that it absolutely improves how much you like the third book when it's like kind of front and center in your brain. And I can understand how frustrating it would be if it's not front and center, because she doesn't do a good job of sort of threading and weaving the exposition into it. I agree with you, Lisa, that I think she's starting to learn what works. And the first 2 books were kind of like, the first book was Are They, Aren't They? The second book was 2 halves of different books. I liked the first half of it where they were still at the academy. The second half gets really lost, which is why I think if you kind of condensed it, like who was saying that when we look back, books 2 and 3 should have been 1 book. I completely agree. I can tell when it's bloating out a little bit. But because this is book 3, I am really glad that we are starting to get in the heads, quite literally, of some of the other characters. It's not a tight-knit group like your ACOTAR, which is like 6 people. This is Flight Wings. This is People in Charge. This is New Griffin Riders. This is a long list of names that you need to know. And Rebecca had kind of done a really good job of not making the stakes very high by killing off so many minor characters and then replacing them with more minor characters and getting bogged down. Now, Cheyenne, I had said earlier that with these characters, Rebecca needs to get very good at when she flings something at you, having something to make it stick, having a moment or a personality trait or an interaction or just
Yeah, I agree. Like there needs to be something memorable about each character. There's so many that it's very, very easy to get lost if you're not already in it.
Yeah, Parquin died. Oh, what?
Mm-hmm.
Who the fuck's Parquin?
Yeah.
Like, I'm making these words up because, like, people would believe me. Oh, yeah, Parquin died. Page 89, right? But it's just like, give me, who is this? Who is this person? And I do feel like we're really starting to get to know who Sawyer is and why his relationship with Jacinia is, like, really sweet and beautiful. And it makes him, like, you get a more of an understanding of who he is. Riddick is getting really fleshed out in this book, and I've really enjoyed getting to know him. I'm starting to learn a little bit more about Mira, but like understanding that if you have 2 very disjointed parents or a mother who never really mothered you, you're going to have a really interesting dynamic in your sibling, conversations. Her, Mira, and Brennan don't really get along. Brennan wasn't in her life for like 10 years. Mira's life or Violet's life for a very long time. When Violet was in the academy, she couldn't even reach out and talk to Mira for a long time. They are really challenging you in Basgiath to detach from relationships, emotions, connections, and people. And so we kind of see how that 1,049 times? Holy shit. There you go, Stephen. Yeah, one of these days I'll get a swear job. Yeah, right. I've been broke. Or it's like, anyway. Smeckard says, I kept thinking everyone else was Sloane, the siphoner. Sloane was a bit lost in this book. Sloane didn't want to use her power, but like, I don't know. She was a bit lost. Eric's getting very interesting. Holy hell. Holden came in. This is, I think, one of the plot creating the world moments, Jeff, where it's like all of a sudden there's a prince and she dated him. What? What? When you're telling about when you're running around with Dane Atos the entire time, you never cared to mention that for 3 years you were knocking boots with the prince? Like, what? I don't know. That kind of shoehorned in. And then like trying to understand Eric and Holden's relationship of being, the next in line and what that look and feels like. There were some side quests. I had a chat to one of my guy friends who's been reading it, and we were doing like 4-minute voice notes, just like, yeah. And he made a really good point. He said that he kind of wished the side quest or the red herring of going to the different isles to try to build an army, whilst also following things that were in the book left by Violet's dad, that each time they went to a location, they unlocked information that took them to the next place. So it felt like they were making kind of like leeway instead of just like, and now we're here, and now we're here, and now we're here. So like that, and it would have been better for Violet's like through line, knowing that her father had like really planned so much of this that she was unaware of. And so, because I feel like in the last book we got to know her mum a little bit more, and I think it would have been cool in this book to get to know her dad a little bit more through these messages and hidden language or passwords, all that sort of stuff. So there was like a lot of missed opportunity is what I'm trying to say. But I think that one of the biggest anticlimaxes of them all, and we will talk about it, Violet's second signet. She's now a dream walker. And Dana, as an adolescent, could stop fucking time. She could stop time. And now, welcome to the chat room. Did it just blip out? Whoops. And now she can visit people in their dreams. I don't know about you guys. I have some pretty wild dreams, and I love talking to my friends about it. And I know that about, I was saving the world, and this guy was trying to kill me, and I was like, oh, blah, blah, and I like cut off his leg. My friends were like, okay. Maude, I frankly don't care. It's just a dream. Who cares? Who cares? So when Violet can go into that dream, who cares? I did a little digging on why this could be a really cool thing. And at the moment, anything that's a secret, that's a way that she could access a secret, maybe. Maybe she can change the course of what's going to happen through the dreams. Nick says, I really hope that she can influence people's dreams and isn't just viewing them. They did tease that because Zayden remembered that he saw her in the last dream. I really hope it's way cooler than this, because at the moment, Arik is OP. And Arik's where it's at. And Arik is just like a second entry, like in the second book, kind of. He's been a secondary, if not third character, like as far as priorities go. And now he's precog.
Yeah, I think also, like, away from what you said about the dream walking, like one thing that they kept talking about during the book, especially Andarna, was taking every possible path. Like a lot of times people are said, oh, you have this kind of destiny, kind of you're trying to, things are supposed to happen a certain way. Like the Optimist keeps trying to get Winter to, go to the dark side kind of thing. But like, it seems like, and she keeps trying to make trouble to seeing that there's only like one way to accomplish a mission or to get things done.
Right.
But
so you think this is going to be like insight? Look, if we're tapping more into deities and gods at the moment, if she can like channel a god in these dreams, that can literally be like a prophet or a sage. But at the moment, that feels like it's Arik, because Arik's the one being like, hey, you need to be outside the Dune temple at this time. By the way, take this. It's dangerous to go alone. Arik's absolutely puppeteering everything at the moment. So, yeah, this signet, wah. James, you got thoughts?
Oh, there is a little hint when Zayden realizes she's in his dream, as he said he was trying to channel from the ground, but his hand raised instead. So it gives a little hint that maybe Violet will have control in someone else's dream.
I also think, who else could fuck people up in their dreams? Freddy Krueger. All right. So let's like just try and see how we can min-max this stat here. Everyone has to sleep. Even the most impossible villain, the untouchable person, has to sleep. So if she's got unfettered access to them when they're sleeping, and we're talking Freddy Krueger-esque type power here, great. Oh, Cheyenne says you've got a lot of notes on dreams relating to peace. And of course, Andarna, being Irid, is a peaceful dragon species. Oh, when she got rejoed, that was tough. That was really hard. Where it's like, you even chose to have a scorpion tail. Like everything that you've been doing is leading towards you being a weapon for war. And it's like, well, everything that's currently happening is wartime. You just can't opt for peace if someone's at your door with a blade. Oh, please don't kill me. I like peace. Like, I thought that was a bit meh. Wasn't there some good dream walking in Black Sun, says Robin. There was. Who visited, was that Okoya? Who did dream walks? Oh, Nara.
It was the leopard guy.
Narumpa. No.
It was the leopard prince guy. I forget his name.
The villain, yeah, I can't remember his name.
He was like one of the main
yeah.
bad guys that did the dream walking, and then he went crazy.
That's right.
Because he lost touch with reality.
Ooh, interesting. Someone else is losing touch with their reality. Zayden. Oh, may have it in common. Or it might be the balance that this book kind of keeps hinting towards as well. Jeff says, I think I remember them mentioning that people can't shield their dreams. Is that right? That's exactly it. It's when you're at your most vulnerable. You can't shield if you're asleep. So this is hopefully a way for her to kind of like connect. The problem is, so far, she's been pulled into dreams where they've got all the power. That sage was absolutely owning her in the dreams so far. But I guess she doesn't know. Inception is another one. Okay, I like. I'm just trying to understand where and why Violet has dream walking as a signet, because she's balancing the sage. Is she? She's supposed to be that balancing I need to read it. Theophocles, Theodora. What are the Stephanie? What's her name? Lisa.
Well, you just said that the sage was kind of owning her in the dreams, but most of the dreams that we were getting weren't her dreams. It was all Zayden. So it was Zayden that was being conquered by the sage in most of the dreams until that last one where she was aware that she was dreaming or she was in his dream.
Yeah.
And
then they did a Doctor Strange thing where it was like
the first time that she had like a fight with the sage in the dream.
Yep.
So everything else was just Zayden constantly, which I picked up when I was re-listening to book 2. I think I caught on that that's what her power was, because I don't know, one of the dreams that she had, I was like, I don't think this is her dream. I'm pretty sure this is somebody else. And then so it made sense to me that was going to be her signet when I heard it.
So why seeing Liam in the second book? Trauma?
That was just I think that was just her. She was like close to death and was conjuring him in her own mind. I don't know that he was there.
It really depends in their mythos, religion.
Yeah.
What happens to people when they die? Do they enter a dreams-like state? Is it an endless dream? Is it like that's the oasis? That's the whatever the afterlife. What is the Greek one where it's like fields of lovely, if you're good, and they serve ambrosia? What's that called?
Elysian Fields.
Elysium?
Elysian.
Peace, dreamscape. And you start seeing his loved ones. Zelda is snoring so loudly. Okay, so we'll see what happens there, but I will tell you guys right now, when she discovered that dream walking was her second signet, the biggest wah-wah sounded from my soul. Ugh. Especially when stopping time was her first one. Anyway, Nick says, I forgot that she saw Liam in the last book. Would have been nice if there was any reference to at all to that in this book, considering how much Liam's death affected her. Yeah, and now it's not even Sloane's priority. Sloane was like, I've killed your mum. Oh yeah, my brother's dead. Oh, I forgot. My bad. Like, I was so angry last book about that, but now all blood's on my hands. I don't want to do anything. Oh, also, like the second signet thing was like a really big deal. And I think I saw a TikTok where it's like, the first book, it's like she gets a second dragon. Oh my God. In the second book, it's like there's a second signet. Oh my God. In the third book, you get a second signet. You get a second signet. And it's starting to sort of like water down, deflate this idea and this scope of what a signet is, I think. And I feel like everyone's kind of nodding and agreeing at that as well. Especially with any sort of intrinsic power is death by sword immediately upon discovery. Everyone's been flying pretty low. Garrick can, what is it? Space step. What's it called? Moonwalk.
A distance walk.
Distance walk. That's fucking cool. That's essentially teleporting, right? It's like your town portal in Heroes of Might and Magic 3. It's like, I was here and now I'm there. That's so cool. Don't worry though, Violet can say hi to you in a dream. All right. Nick said, yeah, was it ever explained why the marked ones have a second signet? Because I saw a theory that even Dane has a second signet, which is why Sloane said that he was more powerful than she thought. What's Dane's second signet? He's actually nice. We like him in this book. Do we like him in this book? We like him in this book. I think he and Kat are going to get together maybe. Poor Traeger. I was like, Traeger sounds sus. It sounds like traitor. Every single time it was said in the book, I was like, the traitor. I'm like, oh. But that was horrible. Dane and Sloane, you think? You guys think Dane and Sloane are going to ship? What?
Yeah, they teased that a lot. When they were doing like the grappling or whatever, training their signets, somebody said something about Dane and Sloane, like her cheeks turned red or something. Yeah. So, I don't know.
There was another line too where I think it was Sloane was like, I'm gonna hurt you, and Dane's like, don't I know it?
Oh, Dane, your flirt game is...
Oh yeah, he's going for it.
Okay. All right. You don't like Dane, Jeff? No. I feel like he's redeeming himself.
He's on the way, but I still wouldn't trust him in any way.
What's happening, though, is that Arik is now undermining every single person. Like, you only need Arik here. Arik, Dane was brought in because he was reading translation books and he could, like, string sentences together barely. And then Arik's just like, oh, I'm fluent in basically every single language. I thought that was his second signet, that he just, like, linguistics. He was able to just talk in any single language because everyone's got a second signet now. Okay. Next book, I hope, is the Buffy/Evil Angel storyline and Dane becomes Spike, says Jay Buntrock. Dane is the worst Spike ever. I'm like, Arik, you've already done the older brother. He was a bit of a dud. Maybe... I don't know. There were some good moments. I will say that when they were, and this was brought up in the chat earlier, Rebecca Yarros did a really, really good job, I think, with some of these tasks and challenges that really raised the stakes. I mean, Traeger dying because he pulled randomly the arrow card of a deck, which displayed, hey, we are all about luck. Are you able to accept luck at any given catch? And it's like, yeah, sure. And he dies. And you're just like, oh, wow, that's like full on. I wanted to see more of an impact on how that would have on Kat, who constantly feels like she's losing out and that she can't love anything because it'll either be taken away from her or killed. I thought that they were going to push a Violet Bodhi triangle around the last few chapters. I think Bodhi's venom. We're going to get into that, though. I also really liked the moment where one of the tests was getting poisoned. And I don't know what Rebecca Yarros did to that chapter, but all of a sudden, that felt like the moment that the book really started, where I was invested. Before that, I was like along for a bit of a ride, and I'm like, okay, can we get to the point a little bit here? And then that happened, and I was like, damn, this is well written. I'm invested. The stakes are high. Now, I also think that perhaps the reuniting between Xaden and his mum was a bit anticlimactic. I hoped that they could have done more with her. Who is she? Why did she leave? What is her agenda? And I kind of would have loved it if she just wanted to stay alive. And she recognized that being with her previous partner, there was a contract. She did that to stay alive. She did whatever she needed to do. And then she got out of there, married another guy who had influence, and then had kids so that would keep her alive as well, and keeps making decisions that keep her alive. And that means that no one else is the priority. It's just her the entire time. That would have been more interesting instead of her being a bit pathetic. Oh my God, don't. Oh no, don't poison. No, I didn't know. Oh, I made the cake, but now it's poisoned. Can you not do that? Oh, I feel bad. I don't know. I just felt like they could have done more with the mum. Give more sort of insight into Xaden as well, like not having a strong mother figure. I don't know. But I did like that moment. Violet knows a thing or two about getting poisoned, says Jimmy. Yes, and that came back in. She was literally going back through the book, being like, wait a second, I've read all about this. Melanie says, Melanie, sorry, even with some of the less than ideal takes, I want to read all these books. Hell yeah. There you go. Bernadette says the fight scene on the island was good. Yeah, she didn't even know that she was taking out the queen. The queen wants dragons, and conveniently 6 dragon eggs are missing. That's where I think they're going. Cheyenne says, I thought it was a great way to tie in the plot of wisdom and the god of wisdom. We are getting, oh my God. Fuck. Listen.
Bless you.
That could have gone worse. I'll just say that. That could have gone a lot worse than it did. And I made it in time. I think that Xaden will be on the Isles in the next book and might get more with his mother. Okay. I mean, where else is he going to go, right? Nick, you've got a theory about the missing eggs. Go on.
Yeah, so I mean, it kind of goes hand in hand with, like, all of Xaden's plan at the end. I think he knew that he was going to go full venom and not be able to turn back, so he married Violet so she could take over. I think, now I saw this online, but I agree with it, so I can't take credit for the theory, but I think the missing dragon eggs could be Aaron and Sigale's eggs, and he took them and brought them to the Isles so that they would be safe in case that they invade, like, the hatching grounds.
Okay.
And I think him and Sigale are hiding out on the Isles without the magic, and he's finding some way to, like, live out there beyond the magic.
That is a safer place, yeah.
Have an effect on, so I think he took the missing dragon eggs, and I also think all the people that have died in the series, he, like, took out everybody who he knew was venom on the inside.
Oh, but, like, Garrick's missing. Unless Garrick's going to go with him.
So the sage said that a brother was turned. So, there's theories about
sibling.
Who the brother is that turned venom. Yeah.
Sibling.
People think it's Bodhi. People think it could be Bodhi, or it could be Garrick.
I got a third one because it wasn't
Garrick.
Well, okay, so are we going to go here? We're going to go here. Okay, we're going to go here. We're going to speed through a little bit of things here. Who was the third brother? No, this is who's Vaden's venom brother? Who else is tapping into the source and is flying under the radar? Now, keep in mind, they've got, like, newling pings that go off. So if you're a new venom, you are sending out a frequency of, like, sup, newly turned here. So they would all know each other. Bernadette, yeah, you're on to something here. All right. So I've pulled this from a website that I have been very invested in, the EmpyreanRiders.com. And there's a breakdown. Who is Xaden's venom brother? Now, there are 4 things that we know about Xaden's venom. Xaden, not Vaden. How many times have we said Vaden instead of Xaden? Vaden, this must be at least twice. This must be very uncomfortable for you, being so close. But Xaden. Okay, I default to Xaden. There's 4 things we know about, because it says Xaden's venom brother. I didn't stand a chance with that one. He knew that Xaden was venom the entire time. It is a male character, obviously. Xaden would never have suspected him, yet be close enough to Xaden to make him feel betrayed by his turn. The quote in the book was, "How could he do this? Choose this after watching me stumble and fall over the last 5 months," Xaden states. "How could he willingly walk the path I've fought like hell to leave? He's the last person I would ever have expected to turn, and yet here we are." So the 3 people that this could lead leave are Maude, Garrick, and Brennan. All three knew about Xaden's turning to the dark side and were close enough to him. I'm not removing characters based on when they found out, as the bad guys could have told them earlier or had that little ping effect. Now, Maude has had an argument with Xaden. Maude is the closest thing to a brother that Xaden has, is his cousin. Brennan has also had an argument about it. Now, taking the brother or sibling word literally, not referring to Xaden's siblings, but Violet's siblings. I know that Brennan is accounted for, but if Xaden can hide the fact that he's Venom, maybe Brennan can too. Brennan the Venom. That's a bit on point. Brennan needed to... Tim's asleep. Brennan needed to save his sister's life. I would be interested to know what the ground looked like underneath Mira's body when he was patching her throat back up, even though apparently he used a siphon. Garrick. Garrick is Xaden's best friend, aka his chosen brother, and he's the only one who's confirmed to be missing out of the 4. Maude, though, there's, in my research, been a couple of moments where Maude has been quite obviously annoyed at Xaden taking charge and telling Maude where to go and what to do. No, you're next in line. I'm going to be doing this. You need to stay safe. And what that has done is made, over the course of these books, make Maude feel a little inferior. So who would want to draw on power? I think the inferiority complex of Maude leans for it to be him who's Venom, which is not good for the Ryerson family. But it's great because now Violet's the Duchess. So, Garrick is missing, however. Nick says... Also, yes, why would Violet need to be Duchess if Maude was the heir? And I think that Garrick and Maude are the most likely because of their distance with Xaden. I also think it's quite strange that they've known Xaden for so long, and then as soon as he's turned, some people are ready to kill him on the spot. I really had to change my mindset for it to be like the zombie apocalypse. If someone gets bitten by a zombie, there's no hope for them. They're only going to turn. You just have to kill them before it gets really bad. But Xaden has demonstrated time and time again, like, how long have you been Venom? Months. I didn't even notice. Clock that. Like, that's really good information. It's not like the bite's happening and then they're like, eh. I just thought that there's these inconsistencies where it's like, you've seen Xaden. We're learning about the fact that he doesn't have to turn. We're learning that if he keeps, stays calm or whatever. Cheyenne says, the problem is that we've only seen people go bad. We've never seen anyone act good like Xaden. So wouldn't that create way more of a benefit of the doubt? Nick says, oh, what's up, Vaden?
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, it does seem pretty unfair to Xaden, especially because, like I said, I understand the hesitation and the fear, but, like as Violet's mentioned, he's literally saved them repeatedly after being in Venom. Like, they would have lost already. So
that's it.
Like, it's it. You need him. Like, there's no other way around it. Like,
also, if everyone has the ability to tap into it, and this flight dragon whatever academy has been going on for decades, and it's just a pull of needing more power, how is this not happening all the time? And there's plants in the academy as well. I just feel like that's not really touched on in the way that it should be, that there's secret venom in the academy. Cheyenne says, wake up, team. What do you mean? Is that because Tim's sleeping, or is it because we are sitting on the answer and we're not landing
No,
it?
like, wake up, Quest Squad. Like, trust your people. Like, there's no need to be sus of Xaden at this point. He saved you how many times?
Okay, that's it. And she even says that. She's like, he drew upon the power to literally save us. If he didn't do that, we'd all be dead. Like, the guy's a hero. Everyone should be like, all right, let's focus on getting him back. And also, it took me a lot to realize if they do have to kill him, doesn't Violet die? Aren't they bonded and connected in that way where if he goes? So I understand so many ways in why Violet is prioritizing him getting better. Because if he gets worse, she dies. And it's, as Xaden had said, it's a when, not an if. So why isn't everyone pulling their resources to protect Violet by helping this? You know, and this doesn't really make sense. And like, was it Mira or someone like goes to kill him? It's like, babes, your sister's bonded. Like, come on, guys. That just, that could have been a bit better. All right, so in saying that, do we think it's Bren, Garrick, or Bodhi? What do we got?
I was leaning towards Garrick, but the arguments in the chat make me lean more towards Bodhi, so I don't know.
Mm-hmm. We're banking on Bodhi. Alrighty. Let's talk about that ending. We had different points of views, and this, some people liked it. Jay Buntrock, you were saying that you actually really liked a refreshing take from Rihanna's point of view and then Imogen's point of view, because you hear the dialogue and the relationship that they have with their dragons, and you can understand how unique it is for everyone. Robin, you were not happy with that. Let's talk about why that point of view gave you, no one says that in America, it gave you the shits. You didn't like it. Your bowels were watery.
I think it would have been fine if it was like sprinkled throughout the book. It's the fact that Rebecca Yarros does this at the end of Iron Flame as well. She gave you one chapter from Zayden's point of view, and it's like, well, okay, like why don't we have this point of view throughout then? And so you're like stuck in Violet's brain the whole time, and then all of a sudden like just jarred out, and then it's always like in Violet, the chapter before, like it was a cliffhanger. So then we're put into somebody else, and it's like, why are you making me wait longer?
Well,
like I wanted to skip those chapters.
I think, I'm going to sneeze again. That's on willpower. Whew. I fought that battle and I won. Don't come back. I think that what those chapters were actually doing was a game of Clue. So you were seeing through Rihanna's and Imogen's point of view who was around at the time. So I think when you look at what's happening with the field and the timeline, this is happening over there, Rihanna's happening over here, and then you see who is around them. Imogen had Garrick save her and then distance walk. And so like basically Imogen had Garrick's last placement. I think that we need to scrutinize those chapters and make them pieces on the chessboard to see what the hell has happened, because we have a handful of hours that we are not privy to and we don't really know what's going on. And I think there's information I hope there is. Is that too smart for what the book is? Okay, fuck. Well, that was my hope. Yeah, so it was cool to see the relationships that they had with the dragons. That this info of the 12 hours where Violet's memory has been erased as well. Yes. Imogen knows that she's wiped her memory, but Imogen doesn't really know what else has happened. Imogen, she was like kind of feeling a bit like sad or sorry for Violet, being like, you know, you asked me to do it. I don't think Imogen has allowed herself to keep what that secret is, because why would she delete Violet's mind if the whole point is to have this like gone? Let's talk about why Violet's mind would be deleted and by Imogen at Violet's request. I think that Violet and Zayden are smart enough to know that this was a when it would happen, not an if, and so they had a contingency plan. I think that in Zayden's, in Zayden's chapter where he's talking to Sigale about said plan, it was like, will she allow you to do it? And he's like, yeah, she promised. So they've spoken about what the deal is, what's supposed to go down. And Sigale said, everything all depends on her part in this. I think they had a plan. I think there was a scheme. I think the whole point was to get married. I think that Violet knows that if she knows where Zayden is, she will follow him. And I think that that's what is not needed at the moment. I think a big theme of this book is, do you save one or do you save the many? Do you save the one you love or do you save the many? And Imogen had brought that up. I think Bodhi's starting to get that. It's like a big conversation where it's like Rihanna had the same thing. She's like, do I go and save Violet knowing she's just one person? Because my job here is to protect as many as possible. So I think that Violet knew that if she knows Zayden's location, she can't focus on the big picture, which is saving everyone. And she's willing to kind of like take that sacrifice, know that he's going to be okay, and know herself well enough that if she has his location, she'll fuck everything else and everyone else to try and like prioritize him. And so I think that that's why she needed it wiped. I also think that if she gets tortured, or if there's an intrinsic, or if Dane does his little memory thing, you can't share what you don't know. And so that's another level of protection for Xaden. When Andana said, I won't let them burn you, I think that's in reference to the method of execution that they use for traitors. And she's committed the biggest type of treason by protecting a Venin, Xaden. And so I think these are all big parts of a plan that's been in place for a little while. It's just shit hit the fan. Xaden took it too far and they had to enact it out. Now, Cheyenne, you've got notes, and so does Nick. Nick, you said, yeah, I think the only purpose of those point of views was to get an emotional impact for Quinn's death. Didn't happen. 2, so we can look at the clues and see who's missing and who can be turned Venin. Yes. Cheyenne then says, the information was important enough of what happened that we cannot risk it getting out. It has to be wiped. There's people that they can't trust. Her dad had even told her to only trust Mira. Why not Brennan? Was Brennan already fake dead at this time? Oh, it's a bit convoluted, isn't it? Rebecca, sometimes you just keep it simple. Jay Buntrock, you said Quinn had one of your favorite signets. Loki, the illusionist. It was fun, though. Also, how long have Xaden and Arik been scheming? Talk to me more about that.
All right. Okay. So we knew that there were callbacks. I don't know if anybody else had caught it, but there were callbacks definitely to Eric and Xaden planning the marriage, essentially. Because there was a callback to that Violet had noticed that there was an emerald, a stone missing from a blade that was sitting on his Xaden's nightstand.
Yeah.
There was also some comments between Eric and Xaden that
I love that you're rifling through your notes.
I am rifling through my notes. I'm just trying to find it because it was all just like, let me throw all this down on paper. Basically, at the beginning of the book, there was a line that was like, "Oh, haha, she'll make a good duchess, though." But I wrote down the exact quote somewhere. Oh yeah, let's see. I just want to know, like, how long did Xaden know? Like, was he privy to the information that like Eric was a precog at first? Like, I assumed that he wouldn't want to tell people because that's a very like, you know, like how long has Eric been a precog that we haven't known of? Because even in like, it could have just been like a throwaway line, but like in Iron Flame, Eric tells Imogen it's Halden's destiny to be king, not mine. So when did he really develop his signet?
He was one of the last, or they kept saying he was a later developer, but he's just not
a late developer. But was he really a late developer?
No, he's just keeping mum on it. But I mean,
think he was keeping it secret.
If oh my god, I don't know names. The one of the big heads who's principal, whatever. He's the one who can see the outcomes of battles. This is just Melgren. Yeah. This is just the outcome of
like,
everything.
Could he be the balance? But like, could Eric be the balance to that? Like, in a way, possibly. I like his precog being, but Melgren's isn't as powerful, it seems, as Eric's, because Melgren seems to just be seeing battle outcomes at this
and that's
point
why they didn't kill him. Oh,
Yeah.
is someone going to be a time walker, says Bernadette. That's what I thought that bloody Violet could be, but stop time. It sounds like the advanced version of that is to move through time. But that's when it gets, I don't think Rebecca Yarros can handle time jumping. There's too many rules. I always have just don't fuck with time if you can avoid it. Jay Brunt says, we haven't even gotten into the whole dedicated storyline. I hope that one gets fleshed out and explained better. What do you mean by that? The dedicated storyline.
How her parents put her up, children get dedicated to a certain god, but they rejected her because of her fate or her future. And then somehow Mira figured out that it meant she might turn Venin, but obviously it's another complicated storyline that I'm hoping she explains better.
So apparently Mira had learnt from her grandmother that, you know, there was a destiny in play, but it's still up in the air. And that's what the high priestess at Dune had also said, like her destiny hasn't sort of been fulfilled or it's not been locked in. So maybe for Arik, Violet's a bit of a grey spot. So I wonder, going back to that with you, Cheyenne, that he couldn't get a good read on Xaden because Xaden and Violet are intertwined, and Violet's oh my god, Violet's destiny hasn't been locked into stone. So it sounds like Violet could go either way. Maybe if she didn't have Xaden, then she'd already be a Venin. Maybe if she whatever, like there's a catalyst, there's something that could happen with Violet that could determine her end goal in a way. Now, she was also given to Dune, hence the half white hair. So Dune has been on her side this whole time, the volatile priestess.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem like they do stress that she's only partially dedicated, like, because they didn't get to go through the whole thing because, you know, it seems like her path could go another way. And my thought is that because she has 2 dragons, could that mean that she could have 2 paths that she could take?
Okay. One of peace, one of war. Tan is the biggest war
Yeah.
dragon, and Dana's literally from the peace species.
So that ties more into my idea of there possibly being a god of peace that we're missing, or maybe just something with the Irids having to do with peace.
Now, I know that you didn't like the god part, Jeff. You said it was a bit trite, and this is where it's like they had been mentioned. Malik is always the god of death, Malik this, Malik that, and then other gods are being dispersed a little bit more throughout these books. I wonder if I'd mentioned that the dream walking means that she can tap into communication with gods and have like more of a prophet line, a dial a prophet sort of thing happen. Or is Xaden going to have to die? And because we're expanding books here, this is like a shoehorn thing. Xaden's going to die, and so Violet really has to go and visit Malik, has to somehow in dreams or whatever, chat with Malik and be like, hey, I'm going to need that one back. His soul is mostly gone. His soul has been dissipated a little bit because he, you know, decided to channel a little bit too hard. But so he's only mostly dead. Look at both of you getting that one. Yeah, he's mostly dead. We learned from the Irids that a little bit more about the Venin and their souls, and you can't bring back what's dead. Maybe no one's had the means to do it. I don't know. I think there might be a little bit more of like a Greek tale with Charon crossing in the Cerberus and then, you know, heading to try and get Xaden's soul back. Ooh. Cheyenne, you have said, oh, I know. This is what Arik said about Violet, which was reading back, ding, ding, ding. She'd be a great politician, Arik continues. Or a general, maybe. Definitely nobility. With that speech, at least a duchess. Xaden shifts his weight, brushing his elbow against my shoulder. So Arik knows something. And that was chapter 6. So if we were finding a timeline of when Arik's signet manifests, I'm guessing it's before chapter 6. That's just 2 on point. Vaden says, I could see a god, maybe the only ones who are able to cure a Venin. I mean, there's got to be balance, right? Bodhi was saying his signet was about balance. This idea of balance, you know, what you take. And if you keep taking power, it's at the cost of your soul. So, I don't know. There's got to be... I think the Irids have more of an answer with this since they are the peace species.
Yeah,
I think that's the answer.
Yeah, and also like she mentioned with Andarna was able to create and break the bond with Violet. So they said they're magic. That's literally their thing. So maybe and don't bet anything is magic. So maybe it's possible they're able to somehow break it, even if they one of them literally said that you can't cure Venin. But I don't know if they're lying or there's something else they're not saying.
Well, I didn't also like the fact that the Irid were just like there. They didn't have to find them. They weren't in like this remote cave. They were just like, "Sup, we've been spying. We hate what we see." There's got to be more to it. They showed up in a non-magic isle. Why do the isles not have magic? Is it because the Irids are there nullifying the magic? Maybe. What is it about the isles? Because that's where the Irids are. They're just in a muted magic place, but they are the conduits of magic. And Dana was able to sever the bond and then reestablish a bond, almost what feels like at will. It was a magic isle, lightly magic. Magic, that's an isle for. Nicely, KP Dubs, nicely done. They showed up as 6 dragons. Okay, 6, there's a lot of 6 symbology in this book as well. There were initially 6 dragons. There are 6 tomes. There are 6 politicians, 6 writers. There's 666. So 6 is a very, very strong theme in this book. Again, EmpyreanWriters.com is where I'm getting a lot of this information from. The 6 is also my birthday. Okay, I was hoping that's fine. It's fine. 6 is a very strong theme around here. Literally next time is a 6th in a date. It'd be me. Oh, it's coming up soon. I don't want to think about it. What's going on with Tan and Dana now? When Violet wakes up, her connection with Tan is foggy. And Tan, according to Andana, is in need of a great rest. I think I read and agree with a theory that Sigale and Tan have severed their bond. And I don't know if it's because Sigale has severed her bond with Xaden, because Sigale was never on board with any of that Venom bullshit. And as soon as like he channeled the first time, they didn't talk for ages. So the fact that he channeled, but I mean, it was to save her though at the same time. I think if you have those two connected, then Sigale and Violet are connected. And that means that Violet and Xaden are connected by bond. So severing their bond would mean it can sever the bond between Violet and Xaden, thus keeping that distance. Xaden wrote on the note, "Don't look for me." Violet wiped her own mind. I wonder if Tan and Sigale literally split their bond to sever the bond between those two. And that's why he needs a sleep. And that's why it's all foggy. What do you guys think about that? Nick says, yes, it makes sense. Cheyenne says, girl was pissed. Yeah. You think it's got to do with Xaden and Sigale's bond? Yeah, Smeka just said it. I wonder if Sigale and Tan unbonded. There it is. Yep. Okay. Any more thoughts on this before we move on?
I think I would guess, only guess I can come up with maybe is that, like, I think when the writers draw from their power, you know, drawing essentially from the dragons, right? But like, so maybe like whatever happened before Violet lost her memory, like she had to essentially draw on Terran so much that essentially she drained him. Essentially, I think. Yeah. Forced him to thing, and then that ended up. I don't know if that was specifically what traumatized her or whatever, and that's why she had the memory loss or whatever she had to do was cause memory loss. But either way, I think maybe she just overused her abilities. My guess.
And her abilities are lightning, which she was using a lot of, or dream walking. So did she have to do some full-on dream walking in those 12 hours to set up the plan? We don't know. And like Jeff says, anything's possible. Literally anything, because the world will change to fit the story. So stop trying to find clues. They will surface when they need to. Okay. Cheyenne, we have a little bit of a psychology kind of conversation about Violet's relationship with Xaden here. Do you think Violet is leaning too much on Xaden for support? And how do you think she will handle the next book without his support? They've got a very interesting relationship. The first book, they hate each other. Second book, they love each other. And now this book, Xaden has ramped up the feels. He's definitely like joking that the consort, calling her love. He's all in. Like, he's absolutely all in. And I think it's because he knows his days are numbered. So there's no point playing games. There's no point having the wall up. He's just like all in. But I think she's also gotten quite accustomed to that. How will she go? Well, she already had to live through Andana's severed bond for a little bit there, and that like destroyed her. Jimmy. Cheyenne, that was your question. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I feel like in this book she is definitely leaning on Xaden a lot. She's not used to being the leader of the group.
She doesn't want to be.
This is her quest, and it's said quite a number of times, like, you know, when they want to talk to Eric because he's royalty, and he's even like, no, this is Violet's quest. Like, this is her thing. She's in charge.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a number of times where she has to like realize and make some decisions. But even then, she has this support system of Xaden and her friends. And now it feels like that's getting a bit rocky. So I don't know if she's learned enough to be able to carry on and make those decisions by herself.
Not only that, like, Xaden always shows up at the right time. Like, shit's about to go down. She's about to lose her life, and then the shadows pour in. You know, that's happened every book. So if he's not there to save the day, maybe she has to lean on her other friends more, and we're starting to see that. And
which I will say, that is a big thing for me in this book. There is a scene with her and Riddick, and Riddick had basically gone to Violet and was like, no, I want to make sure that you're okay, that there's somebody in the corner for you. And I thought that was really important because a lot of the marked ones are so involved with Xaden, and everything's about Xaden and supporting Xaden. But Violet doesn't seem to really have anyone in her court, and I really liked that scene with her and Riddick, of Riddick just saying, hey, I'm here for you.
And especially in the last book, keeping a lot of people in the dark about a lot of things, like the relationship strain that she had with Rhee, who's like, you're keeping shit from me. And she's like, it's not my secret to tell. It's not my secret. I don't know what to do. And then them just really doubling down with her and like, no, we are Fourth Wing. We're a unit. We're a squad. We're a ride or die. You can't keep us in the dark. And like Riddick's, when he found out about Xaden being Venom, he's like, no, here are my conditions. A, at what point will enough be enough and I get to step in and handle this? Like, let me know up until what point, and you have to tell me what that point is. So when it happens, I will take care of it. And then to Xaden being like, this is who I want in, because secrets are no good. All your people know, but our squad needs to be a unit. And I thought that was really sweet that he's looking at for his own. And, you know, like Jacini is not in the squad, but she's a part of the group. Brennan's not in the squad. He's a part of the group. So it does extend out a little bit, but I think we're like Rhee and Riddick and even Sawyer, they are practicing their signets. Like, they are leveling up in the downtime that Violet's off with Xaden doing her thing. These guys are like channeling. Riddick's just like, oh yeah, BT dubs. I could totally freeze the water in fruit. So I'm going to be able to kill people by freezing the blood in their body. Just so you should know, like, just whenever we need to get it up there, that's it. I got that down. And then Rhee being able to kind of like take out that big giant splinter that's in Tan, like Violet couldn't physically even get up there to remove it. And she's like, zoink, got it. So she's getting her Jedi powers, which is so cool. But yeah, these guys are, it was definitely giving Bloodbender energy from Last Airbender. I know. As if you wouldn't do it. Straight to the dark side for this one. Sounds good. Do you think that Violet's processing her emotions of guilt and loss in a healthy way? Excuse me. Did I like say Bieber? Was that sneeze Bieber? Thank you.
Language.
Play it back. The Blue Librarian, thanks for the follow. Welcome. We're chatting Onyx Storm. At the moment, we're wondering, do you think Violet is processing her emotions of guilt and loss in a healthy way? This is regarding to her mother in Iron Flame and Andana. Who was about to answer that one?
I guess, because I wrote the question.
Let's go.
I guess what I'm talking about here is, she hasn't fully processed her mother dying at all, and she refuses to. She's like, there's no time. I can't do this right now. Like, she's completely pushing it aside, which is, she is suppressing it, for sure. Not moving, she's just moving past it. Like, that's it.
Oh my God, I hope she's able to talk to her mum in her dream and get closure. That'd be nice.
Oh, that would be cute.
Yeah, I like that. And her dad, the dad is only talking through tomes
I like
at the
that
moment.
idea.
Yeah.
I feel like she won't do that. I feel like we just thought of that.
Okay. Well, go us. Yay. Would have been a better book.
But then Andarna too, like, she had a support system though, and that's the difference that we're seeing with that loss that she was going through. I mean, she had Xaden at her beck and call. She had her siblings there, and everything was happening. But so it was a very stark difference. Like, she was processing that one, but she ignored the mom, which felt very weird to me.
Yeah, she has a very tumultuous relationship with her mother. I kind of would have liked to have seen more of like Mira and Brennan bonding over that. Like, Brennan was dead for a little bit there, and Mira, I think, has a lot of resentment for that. I think Mira is primed to become the next Lilith. I don't know. I kind of wish I saw the siblings connect a lot more. So when you think about it, Violet has 3 support networks. She's got her fourth wing, she's got her man, and she's got her siblings. And I kind of wish you saw how each of them were able to build her up to be whole. I got a little distracted. Blue Librarian, Blue Reader Gal, I thought that may have been the case. I kind of pieced that together. You only finished Onyx Storm a day ago. Welcome. And Manaholic says, totally unrelated, but have you read, heard, or seen the new Dungeon Crawler Carl book? To which I responded, ha 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 ha. Yes. We're up to book 6 in the club. Next week. Literally, as soon as this stream stops, we are tasked with reading the first half of book 6 in the club. No spoilers, but I ruined my sleep schedule. Will there be a podcast with Matt and Jeff in the future? Ha 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 ha. Yes. I've already interviewed Matt twice and Jeff once. You can find the hour-long Q&As up on the YouTube page. Do we have a link to the YouTube page here? There you go. Right there. Head over there. You can check out the author Q&As. Jeff's will be in there as well. We're big time into Dungeon Crawler, Carl, and I'm glad you found it. And I'm not even sorry for your sleep schedule, because that's the way that goes. Cheyenne says, why attempt to dedicate Violet to June and not one of the other siblings? I know, June seems like it would totally be Mira. Mira's more bitchy badass. I think that would have been a bigger fit. It was because she was broken, right? Oh, that's the old link. That's an old link. Oh, yeah, it is too. Let me find it real quick. What do we call it? What's my channel called?
I'll find it.
I don't even know. Oh, Maude's Book Club. It's not Maude's World anymore. It's Maude's Book Club. Cool. Yeah, someone talked, because this is, again, and Jeff, you've pointed it out, so I'm going to refer to you every single time something like this happens. Her destiny was she was going to be a scribe, but she ended up being a writer. And that's what was special about her. And that's why Andana wanted to choose her. Because it was like, I needed someone that had the brains of a scribe and the heart of a writer. And you're like, cool. And now there is a whole new element in here with, no. She was kind of, what do you call it? Dedicated to a particular god. And this is something that Lilith in her journal says, I will never forgive what my husband did to her. What did he do? He half christened her to the gods of Dun? What? Should it have been something else? What is this whole thing? I think we are shoehorning in God shit because it's going to play a huge role in the next book. But like, what is this extra part in here about? Nick, do we even know what happens when someone gets dedicated to a god? No, man. I got no idea. White flag. The whole plot is half done. Nice, James. Good stuff.
I guess I thought she was being dedicated because she was so like fragile or broken or whatever, and they didn't think like I thought it was essentially like she wasn't going to survive or whatever, and that's why she was going to be a scribe, was because she was, quote unquote weak or whatever, and she
this
was
is her
fragile and all.
Ehlers-Danlos syndrome.
Right.
Yeah.
And that this was some way to like keep her whole. Is I guess how I read it. Maybe I'm reading a lot into that.
Got it. So for her to have a fighting chance, she needed to be dedicated to a god to give her that power up. Right. Why would her dad do this? What was the relationship between Lilith and Aaron or whatever his name is? Anrin. What's the dad's name? Is it in the notes?
Asher or something like that.
Oh yeah. Asher Sorengale. There it is. Did they like each other? Like, did Asher tell Lilith what was going on? Because Lilith was she kept mum the whole book. She wasn't saying anything. She knew about the venom. Her husband's one of the biggest researchers of venom on the planet, and she's like, no, they don't exist. Like, what the hell was their relationship like? Did they like each other? Were they talking? Were they friends? How long was the time between the death? What was his goal? Why did he always choose Violet for this? Is it because he decided to dedicate her, or did he dedicate her because she was destined for this? What the fuck is all that backstory? Internet, tell me. We know from Theophany that Lilith was aware of her since she was Violet's age too. Yes, and Lilith knew she was no match for Theophany back then, and so she stayed behind the wards to stay out of danger the entire time. Was it an arranged marriage, says Toaster Poster? I don't even know. Oh no, you spelled it wrong. Let the smooch.
My bad, I'll remove that. Okay, I just want to see if it actually worked. Okay, cool.
It did work. We got quotes happening again. There were 3 one-night stands. It really lit up the room nicely, though, to have those 3 night stands. Nope. I'm getting a big no from Robin. Lilith and Asher had a plan for sure. Yeah, so many questions about Asher. Let's do a deep dive on that. We've got a couple more weeks to have Onyx Storm as the bonus book in the chat. So let's use that and figure out what the hell is going on. Or we could use the Fourth Wing chat as well. Daxton. What's Daxton? Sham?
Asher Daxton. Daxton was his maiden. What would you even call a name for a guy?
He changed his name.
He changed to Asher Sorengale. He took Sorengale.
Yeah, I was so confused when they were doing the quotes from his journals and it said
Colonel
Daxton.
Daxton. Yeah. Unless that's the grandmother some way, somehow. But this whole time we've been told.
They said at one point it said Asher Daxton, and I'm like,
yeah.
I thought his last name was Sorengale, so I was confused. I didn't know if there was another Asher or if it was all him.
All right, I've literally Googled what's the deal with Asher Daxton.
I'll also put on.
Onyx Storm theory. I think he takes Lilith's last name. Go on, internet. So Daxton's his maiden name. Oh yeah. I mean, I'm really digging this reverse masculine feminine energy happening there. Like Lilith's wearing the pants. Ash is definitely wearing the scribe robes in that one. Like I felt like she was bullying him half the time. Smeckard says maybe some of his books where before marriage they learned about venom and then went back for more research. Did I mean, they've got the books. They've got the books that were passcode locked. Now, someone made a point online as well that she's going, oh, these are the moths from this region. My dad talks about it in his book. So like Asher is David Attenborough on the side. But someone's saying, no, he's left clues all through it. So she's learning the factual text, but she's not actually reading deeper into the words, which is why Brennan didn't get the books. Violet got the books. Mira got the, what did Brennan get? A death wish. I don't think she knows what to do with Brennan except heal.
I feel like there's more going on with Brennan, but in the way of his death, his quote unquote death, like his faked death. Because we know that he's connected with Taryn's previous writer, Naolin. Naolin was the one that saved Brennan, and Naolin is Taryn's previous writer. So there's something going on there where we don't really know what happened.
Oh,
there.
He's the sage for sure.
Right.
He's Bronwyn.
Right, he's not really dead. He's like some sage or something. Like he's got to do with the venom, like still being. That's why, like Taryn is still alive and doesn't ever want to talk about him ever. Like constantly shuts it down. Like there's something bigger there.
He's what's the dude's name? Bruin a storm. Yes, Vaden.
Oh, I was going to say, this Taryn is also very, very hostile toward Xaden because once he goes venom at all. So maybe that's partially it. Maybe part of his extra dislike of Xaden being venom is that, like I said, maybe Naolin became venom to some degree.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that checks out. I feel like that's a good one. Sappy Snakey says, all Rebecca Yarros let on about Naolin is that there has to be a big reason to die for someone. And die is like that. Sappy, where are you getting this tea from? Are you like deep in the... Because if you know stuff, can you help us out with not only Naolin, but Daddy Sorengale too? I've just found a Reddit post that I might read through. Naolin being the big bad venom would explain why they wanted Segale and Tan so bad. He was Segale's previous writer.
There's been a couple of interviews post book release with Rebecca Yarros that she has admitted certain things, like some information on the third brother. Like, I believe it's from Colorado, but like even the one quote from her: "Pay attention to who is missing, and someone who feels that what they've given is not enough."
That's Bodhi.
Yeah, in reference to the third brother. So there's definitely comments that she's been kind of letting onto like that. Yeah, with the nailing comment as well. So it's out there.
Nick says, I was kind of disappointed we didn't get the passcode riddles for the other 3 books. I like word puzzles. Yeah. Speckett said the part about the moths was just so she could look up the bird/poison thing later. Big old foreshadow. All right. Do you want me to talk about Daddy Sorengale in this chat? Oh, thank you, Xander Wild. We're chatting Onyx Storm theories, etc. All right, so after finishing Onyx Storm, I was left thinking about Violet's dad quite a bit. Obviously, you don't know all about what he was up to, but one thing in particular stuck with me. We learned that his full name, Asher Daxton. On one of the Isles, Violet is referred to as Asher Daxton's daughter. Means that he was either traveling there for the first time before he married a Sorengale, and because of that was known as Daxton wherever on the Isles, even after marrying, or he started traveling there after marrying and still introduced himself as Daxton out of habit or security reasons. The Sorengale kids could probably have known his name all along, so for them it's old news, and nobody cares when he asks him about including his name. But why did we not learn his name in Fourth Wing or Iron Flame? Why keep it from us if there's no significance to it whatsoever? Do you really think that this is not important, or will they investigate around his name further? There's also an excerpt from a book written by him at the start of a chapter, which was published under his original name, Asher Daxton. But no one talks about his name implicitly or that book ever again. So my guess is that excerpt isn't just from one of the books Violet got. Are they somehow published through, not the Feathertail stuff, obviously, or are they just copies that Violet owns, like one of the fables? Edit, I just read that people are assuming the book quote isn't out of one of the books of Daddy Sorrengail's relatives, not her dad's, it's her granddad's or something. I don't know, man. I swear to God, I saw a rat by that bookshelf. No, you didn't. Fuck. No, my cleaners came. We're good. I have a dog. My bad, that was you. Okay, I'm just gonna, I have like 12 people in a video call right now, and I'm gonna show you the faces that they made, or how they gesticulated when you said that. My favorite was this. I also had this. Okay, you're out. What the fuck, dude? Why couldn't you just be normal? Why couldn't you just be normal? Why is that so hard for people? Cheyenne says, not a theory, but I believe that Yarros confirmed that her signet is power and she feels most comfortable channeling through lightning. What? Nah, that makes no sense. The whole storm thing. Mama was a storm wielder. She was evolved of the... Jesus Christ. I wasn't ready for that. I'll kick you too. Who did that? I'll kick you. Jump out of my skin like that. We thought that Theophany was a lightning wielder, but we find out that it's more.
Well, blow him up.
Has anybody mentioned or talked about the meaning of theophany?
No, but I see it in the notes. Excuse me.
Okay.
You're up.
Yes.
Let's go. I'm just
All right,
sneezing.
so if you look up the word theophany, it means physical manifestation of a god.
Let's go.
So, I mean, these are crack theories, but is theophany really theophany? Is she a projection of a god? Like, is there some chaos happening here? And there's also some comments too, and I believe she was the one that had said it, but she said, why serve a god when you can become one?
Yeah, and I wondered if that was to do with like Villain 101, you just want power. It's not about being good or bad at all. It's just
Right.
about having power. Why do I have to roll the D4?
I gave you bless.
Oh, thanks. What did it roll on? What did I get though? You gotta roll one for me. You can roll dice online. It's a 4? You just made that up. That's sick. I'll take it. I need it. Thank you. Go on, Shan.
I think that also kind of ties into some of the stuff that we saw. Like, are there any more connections between Neolin and Theophany? Because that comment of why serve a god when you can become one. And even when we see, there's back in Fourth Wing, chapter 8, the beginning of the chapter, there's a quote from Professor Kaori, and it says, resurrecting someone from the dead, now that makes you a god. So, essentially, didn't Nailin resurrect Brennan by saving him from death?
Yeah, and that's what apparently...
How did that work?
Because Brennan died and Naolin brought him back.
Yeah. And we don't know what happened to Naolin.
Was Brennan dedicated to anyone? Oh, this is getting convoluted.
I know. Like, now we're going down the hole, man.
We are. Wasn't that comment from Theophany about her being a previous priestess of June, which is why she also had the silver hair like Violet? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she rejected being a priestess to become Venom to gain the power. Yeah. But why introduce all the god stuff? Okay. I liked that theory, like that name. Mind you, I will argue that Rebecca Yarros got in a lot of shit because she couldn't even do the correct Celtic pronunciations of a lot of the dragons. And she's just like, I kind of looked that up. And so that's kind of how she picks names. So this is where you lose me. The world isn't defined enough to answer any of these questions. Yeah, I hear. We've got 10 more minutes. So let's get a few. Oh, yeah, and Oracle said to Violet that she had multiple an oracle said that Violet had multiple paths and could not be completely dedicated. What do you think is in store for Violet? I think she has to pick her own destiny. How do you think Xaden handled his further descent into being a Venin? He used that power to kill Venin. He couldn't kill his master, so to speak, because that's who turned him, so he couldn't hold a blade to his throat. But he channeled so that he could wipe out all the Venin around him and to save not only Violet, but Tan and Sigale. So he's using, this is the thing, he's using the power to still benefit him and the people that he loves. I think what's going to happen now is that he's no longer going to be capable of love. I think that's what happens. You only deal in power at this point. The Venin are similar to vampires. Yeah, I see that big time. Not only because it's like they need the blood to survive. It's all like they're consumed by the need for blood, and blood is surrounding death, right? This is surrounding like taking life and absorbing power. I also thought that this book did a really good job subtly talking about the cravings like an addict, and Violet staying by Xaden through his sort of addiction in a way. I thought that was kind of a really great way to say it, where he's like, it's when I lapse again. And it's like, no, stay strong. And then when Xaden's like 76 days, that's my benchmark, 76 of like sobriety, right? He's just trying to get like levels of sobriety in there. Robin says, this may be because of my squirrel brain, but who's Lynx? And why do we care that do we care he's a shadow wielder? When the fuck did that even happen? I looked up in the notes where it's like, oh, Lynx like the balance to Xaden because he's a shadow. When? Lynx?
It like happened one part.
It happened towards the end.
No, it was like in the middle of the book. They were at the school, and like he started wielding shadows right behind Xaden.
Chapter 46.
Yes. Well, they said that he developed the powers because he's basically going to become the new shadow wielder because Xaden is Venin. He doesn't have the same power anymore. Like the
higher ups at the school be like, wait, why do we have another shadow wielder? This is weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, C. Dendino says it was like a single mention while at the school. So it's a throwaway comment. Well, there can be people with the same signet. Yep. Sawyer has one of 6 that have the metal bending ability. If you use your power to make a mark on paper, is that your signature? Jay Bunrock, you've like stepped up for KP Dubs who hasn't read the book, and you're delivering the puns for us now. Liam also had ice wielding. Yep. I just like how Theophany is the opposite of Violet's mother. I don't know. I just think that Lilith took the L because she wasn't as strong and she wasn't willing to corrupt herself to get on par with her, so she hid. I don't know how opposite they really are. I think they're quite similar. It's just one wanted it more. Like Dino. Oh, thank you, Dino. But Liam died and Riddick got that after his death, right? What was Riddick's before? What's Riddick's? He would have had a signet manifest in his first year. We need the info.
He's ice wielder, but
but it powered up because Liam. This whole discussion makes me wonder if killing off signet wielders means that power is now available to others, says Vaden. You think there is a discrepancy of power. So if someone with that ability dies, it gets channeled or given to someone who can harness more of it?
Yeah, because it's like, we know it comes from the dragon, so maybe now the dragon essentially becomes free because the human's dead. In that case, like, they can give that power to someone else, or the other dragons can also manifest it for them. But, that's what it seems like. If this person Lynx can gain shadow powers, if Xaden goes Venin, then maybe that means, if one of their friends dies, someone else can come back and have their power,
I think if they found out about that, Bosgaiath is brutal enough that they would kill others just to get their dragon. So imagine what it would be like to then absorb a signet. Oh, this is getting a lot. Jeff says the signet thing makes no sense. Well, apparently the dragon is magic, and the dragon gifts and untaps the signet that apparently is like a personality trait of a person. So whatever you need the most whatever makes the most sense to that person, that's the sort of power that will manifest. Now, this second signet shit, I don't even know anymore. It was supposed to just be a rare one-off thing, but then Violet had 2 because she had 2 dragons, and now Xaden's got 2 because his lineage, because his grandfather had also been with Sigale. They were bonded, and so like if you keep choosing in the bloodline, it manifests more power, and a second signet will unlock. They talk about how people having a signet for the first time in centuries. Yeah. Xaden's the only shadow, was the only shadow wielder. Lynx, whatever. And then Violet's the only. They're basically the shadow and lightning are a combo apparently, and they're the only times that they've been simultaneously a signet in centuries. Yeah, they get grandfathered in. Yeah. So Sigale being bonded to Violet instead means she gets a third. Why is she now bonded to Sigale?
No, I was just saying, like, if we're going off of the idea that, like, Scale and Xaden broke their bond, then that means that Sigale is open and she wants to stay bonded to Terran, so maybe she bonds to Violet too, and now Violet has 3 dragons because we're OP.
Oh my god.
Like, just more of like a, haha, now she has 3 signets.
What did the NBC dragon grant Maude? I don't know. What would this dragon grant me? If it goes with personality traits, what is it that I would amplify? You're so cute. I love my dragon. He's guarding my treasure. Speaking of dragons, why the fuck did the Irids go away for so long? Why is that such a mystery? If there's 6 of them, but they're camouflage, how was that dead and buried for so long that no one even knew a 7th type of species existed? What's going on with the Irids? Have they literally been like balking out of everything and just pieced out for no good reason until like the land dies? The Irids said only Irids can bond second, but who knows if they even told the truth. Baden says my signet would be the ability to prevent sneezes. God, I'd rather dreamwalk. That's saying something. Do they have a second signet because they're rebels and it's to balance power? No, the relics. There's relics in the rebellion relics that had magic infused. Fair floss summoning. Still no cavities. I don't know. I'm too in it. I don't know what mine would be. I'd probably be like a defense thing. My best friend said that I was like really strong. Said sharp first, but then maneuvered to strong. Like, I'm not soft, I'm strong. So I think I would have like, I'd be like, I'd have like impenetrable armor. I couldn't be hit. I'd deflect everything. There you go. Ultra deflection. And then that deflection hyped up would turn into telekinesis. Woo, pa, pa. Great. I got mine locked in. Now, homework. Everyone, you need to think of what your signet is and how it will evolve. Ask your friends and loved ones, what are my greatest traits? What am I like as a person? And then how would that manifest? We kind of did this last time. I want to do it again now that you can have 2 signets or you can have 1 level up. Would you use it for good? How quickly would you turn Venom? Oh my God, Smeckhead, getting a perfect night's sleep. My kingdom for a perfect night's sleep. Cheyenne said I had a client tell me I was very gusty and bold yesterday. We got a wind wielder. Instant wind wielder. You work on that, you can create tornadoes and hurricanes. Don't hate it. Those red veins would be cool to have. Well, J Buntrog, you lasted 4 seconds before turning to the dark side. 4 seconds. We do have more questions in here. The document is open if we do want to continue the discussion offline. Like, did Violet dedicate herself to June at the end of the book? Did Xaden dedicate himself to Violet? Did Xaden and Sigale sever their bond? What was the final straw for Sigale? Would this explain why Tan is resting? We didn't get into that one. Currently, we have been introduced to 6 gods. In this book, we visited different areas of all the gods except for Loal, the goddess of love. Do you think that in the next book she could be playing a stronger role? I can't even do Renegade on my Mass Effect runs, so I can't go Venom. Neither can I, Candino. That's so funny. In D&D, yeah, I've killed goblin children, but in Mass Effect, any punk ass attitude response, I'm like, how dare you? We will only use the nicest manners for everyone in here. There you go. Quote one. Quote one. That's how we started this bish. We killed children here. Vaden, you had one question though. Why are signets themed around shadows and lightning/storms so powerful in these novels? It's mentioned that the last time each fought side by side, they pushed back the venom for a few hundred years, but it's unclear what makes them extra potent. Yeah, I don't see going back to when we did Shadow and Bone, the opposite of Shadow was light. It was a Shadow wielder and a light wielder. Why is Shadow and Lightning the yin-yang for each other? What is it about these two that connect? How do they work together?
Yeah, I got no idea because
I got nothing.
Because the lightning I can kind of understand. Maybe it's like because all these creatures that we see that are powerful, like dragons, wyverns, are all flying. So maybe lightning and stuff essentially is like kind of like an anti-air thing. Maybe it's like a weakness to them. But like darkness, I have zero idea what that would be. Specifically, I guess darkness could be like an anti-arid or something. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. It's something I can think of.
Smack, it's how many wyverns they can kill from a distance. Yeah, they're ranged attacks. They're very powerful. I don't know. I wouldn't mind more symbiosis with those two. You know, like a little bit more. What is these two together? Because obviously it feels like it's very fated that they're together in multiple ways.
Yeah, the book is literally called Onyx Storm, but so it's like dark, just Onyx in terms of black and like storm.
It was just him though. He created the Onyx Storm. He did that. And then she's like, I can't see anything. There's an opening line to one of the chapters that talks about an entire city being destroyed by venom, except for one house. And they were married to that venom. So I think Xaden figured that out. And that's why he's married to Violet. So he can't kill her. Oh, so it protects her from the venom. Okay. Can't freeze from range or burn or blow them over, but those two are ranged. Maybe it's a venom trick to cheat death, but Violet will figure out a way to restore it. This series is primarily a romance, so I can't picture Xaden and Violet not ending up together. There we have it. Onyx Storm. Roughly 3.75, 4 out of 5 as a whole from the group weighing in. It has its problems. But overall, it's a fun adventure where you can switch your brain off and enjoy the ride and enjoy the spice or skip through them. Your choice. There you go. Onyx Storm. I'm going to head back to bed as all of my energy do not feel great. If you're sick, rest up. Who are we going to raid? Also, Dungeon Crawler Carl, Book 6. Read the first half. We're doing it next week. You got a week. You have 1 week to read half that book. And this is a chunky one. This is like, we're going to have to read like 400 pages this week. Sound good, everyone? Get to it. Stop at chapter 37. Is that it?
Read through 37, stop at 38.
Stop at 38. Good to know. Stop at 38. Stop at 38. Who do we want to raid? Baldur's Gate 3 or Kelsey's playing Marvel Rivals. We also have a gaming stream next week on February 21, says Vaden, who's helping me do my job. Yes, there's a game on tier, patreon.com/Maude's Book Club or Maude Garrett. I'm not sure. I think we changed it. I think we're going to change it or it works. And we play video games together as a community and it's a lot of fun. We have a farm on Stardew, which I would like to revisit one of these days. We kill each other in Lockdown Protocol. And when I say kill each other, I mean I wipe the floor with them. Or Lisa is dissident every time. Except 2. Kill Lisa. I don't. I kill Lisa. I mean, statistically. I don't know why you roll the dice and it's just you. I've been playing a Mafia game for ages and there's a girl in that called Daly. And Daly has been Mafia like 96% of the time.
I used to play a game called Resistance all the time, and I was almost always the bad guy on that one too.
What is
that?
I
think it's just a me thing.
You were dedicated to being the deceptive god for all these games. Yep. Oh well, there you go. Shout out to my husband being cool with me doing book club on our anniversary. Shut the front door. It's your anniversary and you guys are doing have you got a dinner on after this? Are you doing something exciting for your wedding anniversary?
Oh, my sister-in-law got us a heart-shaped pizza. So because we were gonna be doing book club, so I was like, oh, I'll have pizza, that way we don't have to cook either. So it was very nice.
Happy anniversary. That's so wonderful. Oh, I love that. Enjoy the heart-shaped pizza. What's on the pizza?
It's a pepperoni. Pepperoni.
Can't go wrong.
Classic. Can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong with a little pepperoni. We're going to read someone called Kelsey. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Kelsey's a part of the Alienware Hive group. I've gamed with her before, and she's playing Marvel Rivals. And I like Marvel Rivals. I have actually had like a couple of weeks off. Fields of Mystria. That's where my heart is still. And the problem is I'm so far into it now. I've surpassed, I caught Felicia Day playing it. I've surpassed where she is. Like, I played it quite a bit, like 40 hours.
Oh, wow. How close are you to finishing?
I'm not, but I do need, I've capped on some places, and apparently they're going to do like an update, which is great because like I've maxed out the mines already. Nice. It's a lot of fun, Shan. If you like Stardew Valley, then you'll love Fields of Mystria. It's a lot of fun. Okay, guys, have fun. Don't get sick. Goodbye.